The
Uh,
the 13-4 Bills beat or no, I'm
Loss.
sorry,
Come on now, get your head out
lose.
your ass.
That was the bit, Casino. They lose to the now 4-13 Patriots. The Patriots scored 23, the Bills score 16. It took every fiber of my being not to pick the Patriots to win this game when we were doing our picks. Now, God, I wish I did. Uh I said on the Sunday Solo show, go listen to that one to hear my immediate thoughts about Sunday's games. But I said I am staying away from talking about this game because I want to talk to Casino about this game, and I'm so excited for his reaction. So the floor is yours, Casino. What happened?
What happened was Jarod Mayo knew that he was gonna be fired. That was a big portion of it. Um, I I don't know why they did not fire him before this game to not mess this up. Um, then you have the players themselves. Obviously, it's not just the coaching, but a player that Joe Milton played, right? Drake May was in there for one attempt and he was out, right? They put in Joe Milton. He I can't blame Joe for this at all. I can't blame Milton. He wanted to prove to people that he was a good quarterback. How many shots is he really going to get? So he goes in there 22 for 29, 240 with the touchdown. Yes, it was against the Bills, BC squad, whatever. But he wanted to prove to people that he could play. And that goes with all of the other players that were still playing. Like they don't know what's going to happen. It must have been known that Mayo was out, the offensive coordinator, he was out. And they wanted to debut what they can do because nobody was guaranteed or is guaranteed to stay on this team after this season. So that's kind of where my thoughts are with this. Kayshawn Butte, he had 117 yards off of 7 receptions. Seven receptions. So it was doomed from the beginning where you had the players in there that really wanted to win, to show and to, bolster up their resume because they might not be here at the end of the season. And you saw it. They kept going to Robert Kraft in the box and he was just livid. He was pissed that the Patriots were doing as good as they were doing. And you saw it on the sideline. Jarod Mayo was smiling when he won this game. He didn't care. Yes, this sucks overall to not get the number 1 seed. However, they still get the 4. They're still gonna get that most likely, they're gonna get that offensive tackle because both quarterbacks are gonna be taken early. Um, and then whoever I don't remember who was gonna pick 3 off the top of my head, but the Patriots are still gonna most likely get their tackle that they want. The kid from Texas, Banks, which is great. That's who I want. That's who I want them to get. It just stops them from having the ability of selling that pick and being able to get other picks like in the second or third round on top of, a higher draft pick. So, or still having a high draft pick. So, I mean, it sucks. They could have got a little bit more out of it, but we're still going to get the person that I know that they need and they want. And I'm okay with Gerard Mayo getting fired on this. I like him as a person. I like him as a player. I love he's a really great player for the Patriots, but some people are just not meant to be head coaches, and he's out. I'm glad. He was made really, really very not just decisions that were like, oh, he's just a rookie head coach. Like there were some thoughts of like, this is he doesn't know anything about coaching. Like, so I'm kind of glad he's out. I like the guy. Put him back on the field. I'll take that. But so it sucks to not get the number 1 overall seed, but it's not like it's gonna fuck us too bad because we will still get the guy that we need and we want.
Yeah. No,
But
I
it's still
think
silly.
oh yeah, it's ridiculous. And only silver lining of this whole situation is it wasn't like it's not going to be one of those drafts where like last year if it was Caleb Williams was the obvious number 1 pick and there was also all these other quarterbacks after them, then it becomes one of those things where it's like all hands on deck, Titanic is sinking because you just lost potentially,
Yeah,
obviously what the Panthers got, which was a haul and a half, right? This
right.
year, they wouldn't have been able to get that much, but they would have been able to get something. And instead, they fall to what, the 4th pick
Before.
and for nothing. And again, Jarod Mayo, he knew he was out because there's no way they fired him like immediately after the game. There's no way if he lost that game, he was coming back next year. So,
Yeah, they
and
knew.
also with the quarterback Milton, I mean, he went out there and balled out, and now there's already teams like seeking him to, as trade bait and stuff like that to get traded to. So
Right.
what he was trying to do worked. And then I'm sure Jarod Mayo will get, a linebacker's coaching
He'll still be a
position
coach in the
or
league, but he's not gonna get another head coaching job.
no. And you can argue that he probably shouldn't have gotten a head coaching job to begin with.
Oh,
But
did you see Gronkowski and his whole thing? Like, he was going off about Robert Kraft and everybody, like, on air, and, who was it? Was it Michael Strahan? Whoever was sitting next to him just goes, "Alright, well, we gotta go to break, Gronk," and then just, like,
yeah.
went straight to break, and Gronk was probably gonna say something that was gonna get his ass fired.
Yeah, and, but my question to you, Casino, is are you are you one of those people that's waiting for, like, Ben Johnson or one of these hot coordinators that's currently in the playoffs, or are you just all in on Mike Vrabel?
There's 2 that I would take. Mike Vrabel, because there needs to be a culture change in New England. Uh, you know, as Jarod Mayo calling his players soft, he just was not getting it with the team at all, and there was just a very lost locker room. It felt like the whole season. I feel like Vrabel at least demands and he gets the respect, because he gives respect. I will take Vrabel. We retired his jersey, or he entered in the Hall of Fame last year in 2023 for the Patriots. I like him. I love him. Um, so I'll take Jarod Mayo, or I'll take Ben Johnson, because Ben Johnson would get us some more offensive players, and with the players that we lack in the positions that we lack for offensive players, he will be able to draw up some schemes to make those players better. So I'll take either one of those two. Bring
Yeah.
bring back Vrabel to New England, which everybody's will love, because everybody would love to see Vrabel there, or bring in Ben Johnson, somebody young, fresh, and who knows how to deal with the offense when that's really what we need.
Yeah. I do think that we need to have a discussion about this Mike Vrabel thing because it is crazy that what is it? We just have this like everybody just has this undeniable love for Mike Vrabel and acts like he's being talked about as if he's Belichick. You look at his win-loss record, he was a coach for 6 years. He finished with a 54-45 record. So, I mean, it's not he finished with 4 winning seasons, started with 2 losing seasons, but it's just he was good, but he won 2 playoff games, and he was 2-3 in the playoffs. So, I don't know where we just started elevating Mike Vrabel to being like he's just Belichick, but I like him as a coach. I'm not saying I don't, but this insane notion that
I mean, you feel comfortable with him at the helm. There's a lot of times where we picked Vrabel to win games just because they had Mike Vrabel and the other team did not have him as a coach.
yeah. I mean, and that was, but again, he had good teams. Those defenses were good. He had Derrick Henry in his prime. He had at least a competent offense, and he also had AJ Brown, who is at this point a top 5 wide receiver in the league. So he had the number 1 wide receiver or number 1 running back. I'm sorry, a top 5 wide receiver, and then a pretty good defense. So I don't know. I mean, again, I would hire Mike Vrabel, but it's just, yeah, it's crazy that we've elevated him to the level we've elevated him.